What's up? What's up? Here we go. You Can't Play Boxing Podcast. We back with episode 52, season 3. So appreciate everybody listening. Yo, let's get into some of the house cleaning real quick. Number one, check us out on our socials. You know what I'm saying? Check us out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Also check us out on Twitter, You Can't Play Boxing. Check us out YouTube, You Can't Play Boxing. And of course, if you're listening, you can check us out on every major podcast platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, of course. Shout out to the people of Spotify. So yeah, check us out, all those places. And yo, it's been a couple weeks, so number one, I want to shout out everybody for listening. The listenership is growing tremendously. So, appreciate y'all. Now, the summertime is coming, and, boxing, we going to heat up in the summertime, but we got in the month of June, we got a few fights, but not a lot of fights. But in July and August, we got some fights. So you'll definitely be catching more episodes. We're going to switch some things up, too, on the podcast. We're going to switch some things up have more in-depth type things. We're going to have some guests on there. I know I've been saying we're going to have some guests for a while, but we really are going to have some guests coming up soon. So, you know what I'm saying? We're going to discuss that. And, first things first, on the podcast, what we try to talk about boxing and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's what You Can't Play Boxing Podcast is about. And, I know a few weeks ago, we discussed the NBA playoffs, right? And at that time, I gave y'all my prediction of the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers. But if you've been following basketball at any point in the last couple weeks, you saw that half of my prediction is turned to be not true because the Los Angeles Lakers, they lost to Phoenix Suns. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker, CP3, ate in the whole game, the whole city of Phoenix. Got family over there in Phoenix. I know they've been waiting on this for a while. So Phoenix won. The Lakers got eliminated. Brooklyn, like I said, man, I think they're gonna win it. It was funny to me how a lot of these a lot of these NBA journalists and TV people, they thought that Milwaukee had a chance. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Milwaukee was going to win a couple games, and they probably still may win a couple games. But to me, bro, it's like, even if you take away James Harden, who injured, there's no way that Brooklyn is going to lose this series. Like, when it comes to the playoffs, bro, you just really got to choose who got the best players. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to a tie game or a close game, who do you trust? Milwaukee has shown themselves not to be trustworthy in these type of situations. And no disrespect to them. It's just that they not at the level that a Harden, a KD, and a Kyrie are. You know what I'm saying? So it was funny to me how people were saying that Milwaukee was going to beat the Brooklyn Nets. I'm like, nah, I don't see it. You know what I'm saying, at all. And Brooklyn has been putting a motherfucking stomp on Milwaukee, bruh. I think Milwaukee will come into the series and win a couple games, like I said. But again, Brooklyn, when you got KD and Kyrie, and if you throw James Harden into the mix, bro, that's like an unstoppable, you know what I'm saying, situation. So we'll see how it plays out. But my pick, I don't know who's coming out the West. I think the Clippers could do it. I would be surprised to see that Phoenix does it. Those are my top two out the West that's remaining. But I mean, when you look at the Brooklyn Nets, they built to win, you know what I'm saying? And I know people wanted to hate on them, but hey, bro, you can't hate on talent. Like, it is what it is. So we'll see how that plays out. So that, you know, we kind of got into some of the NBA stuff, which this is not an NBA podcast. This is a boxing podcast. But I like to touch up on different issues and topics sometimes. So let's get into some of this boxing stuff. Some of the boxing news. First things first, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. I know you've been hearing about it. Today, the Nevada State Athletic Commission has approved the T-Mobile Arena to be the site of the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3 on July 24th. You Can't Play Boxing podcast will be in the building. We will be in the building that weekend. Tickets are already purchased, you know what I'm saying, as far as flights and all that. The tickets for the fight have not gone on sale yet, but I do plan on purchasing those too. It's a monumental fight. It's going to be a big fight. It's going to really change. It's going to change trajectory of careers this night, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely looking forward to it. July 24th. Fight night in Vegas, summertime. Vegas is allowed to have full capacity at arenas now. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a monumental night, you know. Looking forward to it for sure. So another news over in the UK, our guy Eddie Hearn. Of course, you know, the zone he's affiliated with in the United States. But in the UK, which he's based out of, Matchroom Boxing, which was ran by his dad, you know what I'm saying, and Eddie Hearn took over. They've always had an affiliation with Sky Sports, which is a big broadcasting platform over there. But Eddie Hearn, he's going to the zone in the UK, so that's pretty big for the UK people. Eddie Hearn is the major promoter over there. Anthony Joshua will still be on Sky, but I think that the contract is in the process of being renewed. So we'll see how that plays out. And I know Eddie Hearn did mention the fact that Anthony Joshua will probably be making an announcement as far as his ongoing broadcast relationship, and also I think an announcement with his ongoing relationship with Matchroom Sports. So we'll see how that goes. So what we're gonna do real quick, because this episode isn't gonna be real long, but when we come back after the break, we are gonna talk about a couple of fights the past couple weekends. We had Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares, and also we had, of course, Ocho Cinco getting in the ring, and the big Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul exhibition. So I'm going to touch up on that real quick episode, but we're going to touch up on all of that when we come back after the break. Shouts out to our sponsors. Luxury Apex is sponsoring this segment. LuxuryApex.com is where you can find the most premium colognes and fragrances for women and perfumes for women for great prices. Luxury Apex has premium colognes and perfumes from Chanel, from Tom Ford, also from Dior. And just for you listening to our podcast, You Can't Play Boxing, they got a special promo code for our listeners. If you type in the code Can't Play Boxing 25, you get 25% off from any item on the site. Luxury Apex includes free shipping, so give them a shout, man. LuxuryApex.com. Premium fragrances, top-notch designers. Let them know that You Can't Play Boxing sent you over there. Again, promo code is Can't Play Boxing 25. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app, Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. Yeah. You Can't Play Boxing podcast. We back, episode 52, season 3. We in the building. So yeah. We're going to dive into some of these fights we had over the last couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? The weekend before last, we had Devin Haney fight Jorge Linares, 135 pounds. And, Devin Haney, undefeated. I think Devin Haney's 23, 24 years old, fighting a step-up fight against Jorge Linares. Linares has been in there with Lomachenko, gave Lomachenko a hell of a fight. He's been in some wars, you know what I'm saying? And Devin Haney, he looked good, especially the first 9 or 10 rounds. He was disciplined, outworking Linares, neutralizing him. He was fighting a picture-perfect fight until the 10th round. So at the end of the 10th round, Linares hit Devin Haney with a 1-2 at the end of the round, the very end of the round. Devin Haney walked to his corner like he was drunk. And I was like, whoa, hold up. I thought it was just a regular 1-2, but when I saw him walk to his corner and he walked like he was drunk, I said, oh shit, he hurt. My man is hurt. So he had, and his corner knew he was hurt too. If you was watching the DAZN broadcast at the time, his corner knew that he was hurt. They was asking him questions like, how you feel? He was asking for water. He was trying to get his senses back. And really those last 2 rounds, all Devin Haney was doing was just trying to get close and hug Linares, because he really wasn't feeling, he was really trying to just hold on. And so it was an ugly last 2 rounds of Devin Haney. Linares, of course, I had to win those last 2 rounds, but Devin Haney dominated so much in the first 10 that to me, it was an easy decision as far as decision-wise. But yeah, he was in trouble those last 2 rounds. And it's kind of a catch-22 with Devin Haney. He's shown in the past that he can be very disciplined. And he can, just box you. And he can kind of just have tight defense. But the only thing about that is if he displays those skills and he boxes you and displays the defense, do people really want to see that? Especially in 135 pounds when you got Lomachenko, you got Tank who doing knockouts, you got Teofimo Lopez who's fighting exciting fights with Lomachenko, and he's knocking people out before that. And then you got Ryan Garcia, who's also exciting. Devin Haney may have thought like, man, I can win these fights, but I can be in a catch-22 where I'm good enough, nobody wants to fight me, but I'm quote-unquote boring where the fans don't want to see me, and I'm like Demetrius Andrade, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm good, and anyone who knows boxing knows I'm good, but my bank account is not going to show that, and my credentials and the accolades I get in the boxing ring, you know, in the boxing industry is not going to show that. So I think Devin Haney, I guess I say all this to say that. I guess I say all of that to say this. I think Devin Haney was trying to open himself up and try to be exciting. He was trying to go up for the stoppage. And he opened himself up and he got hit with something. And he found out that it's still real out there, you know. He won. Don't get me wrong, he won. But I think, you know, too, that these 135-pounders, bruh, they need to start fighting each other. Now, I know we had the pandemic last year, but even still, Teofimo Lopez, he got in there with Lomachenko last year. Now, I know you're not going to have back-to-back. You ain't going to have back-to-back top contending fights. You're going to do one tough fight, then one mandatory. So I don't fault Teofimo for taking this mandatory. You know, I think he has his fight in a couple weeks. I don't fault him for that. But when it comes to like Ryan Garcia, I know he's like doing this mental health thing. So, but when it comes to Devin Haney and especially Tank, and even Lomachenko after this fight, if he gets past it, man, they need to mix it up. Like it's gonna be the end of 2021 going into 2022. They can't be, you know, saying we want to let stuff marinate. You know, you let stuff marinate, the meat goes bad. You feel me? You let it marinate too long. So, I think they need to get in the ring. They're not finished yet. They're not in their prime, but they all have notoriety to where if they fight another top contender, you'll start to see who's who and what's what, and someone that can kind of separate themselves. And I think really all four of them, like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, I think all four of them, they each could beat each other depending on the night that it is. Like the talent to me looks close, but you're not going to really know until they fight each other. And I think a loss doesn't really take one out the equation unless it's a bad knockout loss, which could happen. And I think no matter what they say, none of them really want to fight Lomachenko because he is still a problem. You know what I'm saying? And but I think they should get into the ring, bro. We should start seeing those big fights in lightweight, you know. And let's start to separate each other, you know. Let's make these big fights. So, all right, so that was my, you know, Devin Haney, Linares. Devin Haney came out. But, yeah, Devin, we need to see you in there stepping up a little bit more. You stepped up with Linares. You got tested. You came through. Step it up another notch, you know what I'm saying? Get one of those top four. See how it is. So the next thing, you know, this past weekend, we had the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight, in Miami, exhibition fight. And that card, I didn't pay for the card. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought about paying for it, but I just, yeah, I didn't pay for it, unfortunately. But I did watch it. And it was an entertaining card. I'm not going to lie. Like the Ocho Cinco fight, Chad Johnson, Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, former Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver. He got into the ring for a fight, and he was fighting a guy who I think was 0-2 in professional boxing. And I know Chad Johnson, he was down there working with the Charlo brothers, getting the sparring in, and you can tell like in that fight, the first 3 rounds, he had discipline, He was using his jab, using his reach, because the guy he was fighting, he didn't have the same reach as Chad Johnson, so he was staying on the outside, doing what he had to do. And he was really fighting a disciplined fight for the most part. There was a couple times that they'll rumble and he'll get out, he'll become undisciplined for like 10, 15 seconds. But then he was back disciplined. But I think what happened in that 4th round, if you look at it, number one, Chad was getting a little bit tired. But then in the 4th round, he flexed on his opponent in the middle of the fight. Like did it, flexed on him, and old boy was like, "Oh, okay." He dapped Chad Johnson up in the middle, which I've never seen before. I've never seen another person dap him up after somebody flexes on you. And then 5 seconds later, Chad Johnson circles around. Old boy hits him with an overhand right and lays him out. So that's karma, man. Respect the game, man. You can't play boxing. We always say that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't play it. You got to be real in it. And Chad got up, though. You know what I'm saying? Chad got up. And he was able to, it was an exhibition fight, so it wasn't scored. But he got up. He wasn't knocked out. And me personally, I think, it was I think Chad won. If I was scoring it, I had him 3 rounds to 1. So I think, I had it 38-37 due to the knockdown. And but it was a good fight. It was a good, entertaining fight. So shout out to Mayweather Promotions for putting that on the card. And another fight we had Jarrett Hurd, 154-pound former titleist, who was fighting Luis Arias. And man, Jarrett Hurd, he didn't look good. Jarrett Hurd used to look more relentless, because I was in a group chat with some of my guys, and I was saying, like, they was like, man, this fight sucks. I was like, man, Jarrett Hurd doesn't look anything like he was looking 2-3 years ago. Looks less aggressive. Of course, he lost, his previous fight. Looking less aggressive. Wasn't relentless as he was previously. And Arias, he didn't have the power, but he had the same relentlessness that Jarrett Hurd used to have. Arias displayed that shit. And he got a much deservedly decision win. And I don't know if you Jarrett Hurd, bro, like, you really got to look yourself in the mirror, because really, talent-wise, Jarrett Hurd was never the most talented person in 154. Like, I would say the Charlo was more talented. Lara was more talented in his prime. There were more talented guys at 154. However, Jarrett Hurd had that relentlessness. He was gonna make you work. He almost had like a little bit of Sean Porter. Like, he was gonna make you work and make you earn. If you're gonna beat him, you're gonna know you was in a fight. he didn't have that. He was just coming straight in, hands down, wasn't leading in with the jab, wasn't smothering, wasn't attacking, not consistently anyway. So we really got to look at in the mirror and kind of see what he wants to do from here. He needs to go back to the drawing board and go for what was working. So, he lost that one. And, you got a couple losses on your resume. The money starts to look different. The respect starts to look different. You don't have as many people on your nuts. So you gotta rise to the occasion. I think he has it in him because he showed it before. Sometimes, you start getting money and you don't have the same hunger that you had before. And that's what got him to that point, was the hunger. So shout out to Jarrett Hurd. I'm rooting for you. I don't want to see you, you know what I'm saying? You displayed that skill, and this boxing game is not an easy game, bro. I don't take it lightly. Like, I know how I can only imagine how hard it is, I know half of it, But after that fight, we had Badou Jack. He was supposed to fight John Pascal, but John Pascal, they fought before last year, and John Pascal won an upset to take the titles. But John Pascal said, you know what? So allegedly, excuse me, they caught him with 4 performance-enhancing drugs. He was pulled out the fight, and Badou Jack didn't get a chance to avenge his loss. Badou Jack said he always felt like John Pascal was on something anyway. And so he feels vindicated. But Badou Jack, he fought a replacement. He won. He did what he had to do. And hopefully, John Pascal can be clean and they can have a rematch and we can see what actually happens. So I think that'll be a good fight if we have it again, because it's like a grudge match now, So on to the main event. The main event, we had Floyd Mayweather fighting Logan Paul. Exhibition fight, so knockouts would be counted, no headgear, but there was going to be no sort of judges. And the fight was kind of how I expected it to be for the most part. If you know Floyd is going to see what you do the first couple rounds, which he did. And then third round, instead of observing, Floyd became a willing combatant, especially in these exhibition fights is what he's been doing. And he started walking forward, walking towards Logan Paul. And I think he was trying to get him out there, he was becoming more aggressive. Logan Paul, though, he weighs 30 more pounds than Floyd Mayweather. And Logan Paul, I'm not going to lie, I thought Floyd would be able to knock him out. But I want to give Logan Paul some credit. Logan Paul was able to not get knocked out. He was able to use his size and drape his weight on a smaller guy. And he was able to hold and survive, you know what I'm saying? And being that you had no judges, a win for Logan Paul was just surviving and not being knocked out. You gotta think about it. He's a YouTube star who only had one professional fight. So for him, if I can last 8 rounds with one of the biggest boxers, one of the best boxers of the previous generation, hey, I won in my mind. So, it was somewhat entertaining to see Floyd try to get the knockout and see Logan Paul try to survive what you did. And, I think we'll see another Mayweather exhibition. I think if Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley, shout out to Tyron Woodley out of the STL. If Jake Paul, which is Logan Paul's brother, beats Tyron Woodley, I would not be surprised to see a Floyd Mayweather Jake Paul fight, especially being that Jake Paul is on Showtime also. I wouldn't be surprised to see that fight end of the year or beginning of 2022 as a large pay-per-view. I don't know if it's exhibition or would it be a regular fight, But yeah, that's kind of all my observations. I'm not a person who hates on the exhibitions. I'm not a person who loves the exhibitions. I'll watch it. But I understand what it is, It's capitalizing off of your name. You know what I'm saying? And more power to them, because whatever you must say, they built their name where people care about them and people will tune in. So shout out to them for capitalizing on their name. And, everybody came out safe. So like I said, y'all, this is going to be a quick episode. We're going to have another episode in a couple weeks. We're going to talk about the Teofimo Lopez fight. Also, check out some more stuff we're going to have coming through. YouTube, all that, you know what I'm saying? But like I said before, check us out on our socials. That's at You Can't Play Boxing on Instagram. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and of course, all the social media platforms. Also, email us at youcan'tplayboxing@gmail.com. The questions we got, come better a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Come with some better questions. But appreciate the people who did email. And of course, subscribe, rate, and comment the podcast. And I appreciate all the support. And until next time, y'all, peace.